Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Let's Talk It Out podcast. I'm your host and a moderator, Alec Lifschultz, aka Trey Busy. This is another week that we had two podcasts in one. I wanted to thank the ladies from the Trifling But True podcast coming on Tuesday. They came on. They were eloquent. I mean, they were just really gracious. They're really informative. And the conversation was, it got pretty lax. I really do enjoy being able to get that comfortable with my guests and being able to have such a serious conversation, but in a comfortable setting. That's all. That's what it's all about with Let's Talk It Out. We like to have the conversation, but I like for it to be chill and open and honest. I don't want it to always have to be so serious. So, those ladies, man, they were so great. I re-listened to the episode recently, actually. So say hi to Jackie. She's in the chat room. What's up, Natty? What's going on? Before I go too much further, I don't want to keep going on and on. I do have a special guest tonight. He's actually 13 hours in the future because he's inside Singapore right now. It's actually a very, very beautiful morning out there. Rayson, can you come and tell people a little bit about yourself?
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Rayson, and I am your transformation catalyst and also at the same time a host for my podcast called The Legacy Show, where I got to interview successful entrepreneurs such as Gary Vaynerchuk, Grant Cardone, and many, many other people as well. And also at the same time, I have a full-time profession other than doing all those side hustle. So my full-time profession is actually a psychiatric nurse. So this is my full-time profession as well. And I've been in this line for about 5 years already. So today's episode, I'm really grateful and honored to be here because I can share with you my wisdom, my knowledge about mental health and mental wellness as well.
Thank you, Rayson, for starting your morning off by having this conversation with us, man. The fact that we were able to connect, and that's one of the only beautiful things about social media is that you're able to connect and meet people like that. Because I'm all the way in Chicago, and again, he's in Singapore, and it's 13 hours away. It's almost like he's in the future. We were just joking about it before we came live. He's in the future right now, and and we're in the past back here in the United States. So,
yeah, I know, right?
It's a little funny. What's going on, EJ4312? Darren's in the chat room. Yeah, guys. Everybody, welcome in. I'm really fired up tonight, man. It's not every day I get to talk to somebody that lives in a different country. That's
and in the future time.
In the future, yeah, in the future as well. That's huge.
Yeah.
So Rayson, I want to ask you, man. Just want to dive right into there, man. So tell me a little bit about your work as a psychiatric nurse. Like, what does that entail? Give me like pretty much just like straight up all the details that entails.
Oh, all right, sure, no problem. So basically, a psychiatric nurse over here in Singapore, it's pretty much similar as to what is happening in the US and other parts of the country as well. So what we normally do is that we have to actually assess the patient together with the doctors, and then after that, we will talk to them. We will act as a listener to them, and we have to actually be able to, I would say, counsel them as well. So we are pretty much of an all-rounder. We do not just assess them. We also have to, in fact, prescribe medications, counsel them, and also at the same time, if they are aggressive, then we have no choice, but we have to restrain them, which is the final last resort that we have to do. Because usually we will be de-escalating them, we will be talking to them, calm them down, calm their nerves before all these things have to take place, and that's usually the last resort.
So very last resort is to restrain this person if you can't calm them down.
Yeah, correct. And it's not 100% like what you watch in Batman versus Joker, all those kind of straight jacket movements, or it's all very I would say very much like what you saw in the movies. It doesn't really 100% happen in the real life situation as well. So yeah, it's pretty much a very different concept when we come to nursing this kind of patients.
Before I ask my question, Jackie has a chat. She has a question from the chat room. She says, "Do they generally get brought in by someone, or is it voluntarily?"
Okay, it depends. So sometimes some patients will be brought in by the police because they were causing some harassment outside. They're causing some troubles outside. They were doing a lot of funny things outside. Somehow or rather, or some of them could be suicidal. So when it comes to suicidal, the I would say the police have to come in to actually bring them in, and they have to talk to them before they bring them into the police station, and then after that bring them into the institution itself. So yeah, so it depends. It all depends. Sometimes can be the family members who brought them in because they felt that patients are relapsing, so they have to actually bring them back to the hospital. So yeah, and some only very occasionally patients will come in by themselves because they feel very stressed out, and they need some professional advice, they need some professional help, so they actually come into the emergency room and to sometimes check themselves in, because the doctors actually said that they have to actually be admitted, then they will be admitted for further observation. But otherwise, usually will be the family members or the authorities that will bring them in.
So very rarely you say someone brings themselves in.
Yep, pretty much, because over here in Singapore, and I believe around the world, mental health issues are pretty much a stigma. So that's why they wouldn't want to come to a place that they have to actually get stigmatized, because if they were to tell their friends or those people who do not really understand this label of having mental illness and all this, they will tend to label them in a very uh, negative manner, and that is the cause of so many people not wanting to actually come and seek help, or even to actually refrain themselves from the society or from the outside world.
So you said something that I touch on it all the time. It's in my graphics I post all the
Yep.
time. I mean, there's always a stigma
Yes.
associated with mental health that that it's not normal for you to be dealing with something or for you to need help, and that you're weak for trying to seek help. And
Yep.
I the signal that I always post, always in all my graphics, says "stomp the stigma," and that's what I try to do, to let people know that it's perfectly normal for you to seek help for when you are dealing with something mentally. That's very normal, and
Yeah.
you should not feel like you're being singled out for doing that.
Yeah.
I got.
And
Go ahead, my bad.
oh, no, it's okay. No worries. Just continue. No worries.
Hey man, you're the guest. All right, I'm not gonna cut you off, man. If you got something to say, go ahead. Say what you gotta say.
Yeah, sure, no problem. And also at the same time, right, as a lot of people will tend to always forget, is that in fact mental health is a very core part of our body and our mind and soul. Why do I say that? It's because mental health has these three components that are pretty much pretty much equates to the whole perspective of yourself. So it comprises these three components, which is the emotional well-being, your physical well-being, and your social well-being. So so all these three are intertwined together, they are linked together. So when you're emotionally well, meaning to say that you do not throw random tantrums every single time. Like I have encountered people that actually are pretty much very well in the morning and in the afternoon, and then in nighttime they will pick a fight with someone. They will do funny things to make sure that they get attention, and all these things are pretty much insecurities that are surfacing from them. And when they are emotionally unstable, meaning that say that they get angry for no apparent reasons, they cry for no apparent reasons, just for probably for negative reasons, such as they need and yearn attention from the partner and things like that. All these are actually, I would say, one of the root causes of a person suffering from mental disorders. And then for physical well-being, I'm not judging here, right? But for most of the people that are mentally unwell, right? Sometimes, right, their physical condition are pretty much poor. I'm not just saying about their weight wise or their BMI, but I'm talking about their physical condition in terms of physical illnesses. Some of them have terminal illnesses together with obesity and etc. And I'm not saying that people with physical illness and this obesity can 100% cause them to have mental illness, but somehow or other they are more prone to mental illnesses because of probably their lifestyle, their eating beliefs, their health belief system that is causing them to actually have some physical breakdown, and which slowly cause them to have some mental breakdown as well. And of course, I'm not just saying that people with physical illness will 100% have it, but this is just the what I've seen so far. Those people with certain conditions will somehow rather tend to become very negative. It's like patients who are suffering from stage 4 cancer or HIV. Uh, more 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 percentages of them will tend to go fall into depression and then slowly go towards psychosis and etc. Pretty much more than this people that are just suffering from normal diabetes and etc. Because their immune system is pretty low, and at the same time somehow or rather their social support is not so well, which is something that I'm going to talk about, which is what I just mentioned, social well-being. Their social well-being is like their social circle is pretty poor and pretty low, whereby their friends that they mix with are pretty negative and they're pulling them down all the time, or even to the extent of like witnessing friends committing suicide and it was a successful suicide, for example.
That you said something that really connected to me, like what I think and what I've told people before, is that you
Mm-hmm.
have to make sure your body is right physically, because if
Yep.
like you said, man, I mean, people not poor condition, like not just again, like not just living wise, but like if you treat your body poorly, you put bad food and stuff. This stuff does slowly but surely start affecting your mental state of mind as well. So I mean, that's why
Yeah, and
I encourage people, man, like to do what you gotta do to get go to the gym, go for a run, diet a little better, man. Like take care of your body in all aspects, because if you take care of your body, it will take care of you as well.
yeah, correct. Because your body and your mind, they are the temple of your soul. And also at the same time, they are the one that affects your thinking, feeling, and your actions as well. So you have heard of this think, feel, act thing, right? So mental health comprises of these three components that will affect your thinking, your feelings, and your actions. So once your thinking and feeling have, I would say they are more towards like they're linked. They are not so, I would say, much uh, inconsistent, whereby you are thinking negative things and you're feeling happy. There's no such thing. Unless if you are really psychotic, then of course, uh, certain parts of you will not actually portray it in a right manner. But of course, your thinking will affect how you feel, and your feeling will affect how you behave and act in front of others. So if you want to start from scratch, you all have to start from within. Okay, yeah. So this is a fundamental truth about mental health that I would like everyone to know about, which is think, feel, and act. If you can make sure that these three are consistent with one another, then you will be in a more positive manner. I would say you'll be happier and more optimistic in life, because your mental health is strong, your physical health is strong, your social well being is strong, everything will be better.
So everybody needs to work towards making sure all aspects of their life are better, and just not focus on a couple of them. Make sure everything in your life, relationships, make sure you're working somewhere that you're not stressed out at. Just everything has to be
Mm-hmm.
better in order for you to be, a sense of wellness in your life. Without you opening yourself up or subjecting yourself to dealing with these mental breakdowns. That's what you're saying. I wanna ask you a
Yeah,
question from the chat room. CB fan says,
sure.
is there a direct correlation between aggression and patients who discontinue their meds, or are there alternative explanations for aggression?
Okay, it all depends. So basically, for some patients, they have a very aggressive nature. Okay, so they whenever they are relapsing, they tend to respond to their inner world. Okay, their inner world can be their hallucinations slash delusions or both. Okay, so when people are actually responding to hallucinations, okay, for example, I had patients who actually talk to themselves because of certain hallucinations commanding them to do certain things which they do not want to. Okay, so certain things such as I would say asking them to actually go and slap someone. Okay, they do not want to do that, right? But somehow or other they are fighting with the thoughts inside them, because in my opinion, the brain is just like a computer. Okay, it's just like a computer motherboard. Okay, once this is affected with viruses, trojans, and all this, it will somehow be negatively affected, right? So when you go for a check for your computer, right, when you send it to actually get it repaired, somehow or other, once it comes back, I would like to ask the floor. Okay, once the computer comes back or a laptop, desktop comes back to you, will it be as fast as before? Will it be performing at its peak, at its optimum level as before? Not really, right?
Once it's affected, no, absolutely not. Especially if it's not a MacBook.
Yeah, right. So it's the same. So when patients who have aggressive nature, right, and they are responding to their hallucinations or even delusions, right? Delusions meaning that certain things that are false are true to them. These patients think that these false beliefs are true. Like some of them, they believe that they are Jesus Christ. Okay, some of them believe that they are Buddha. They are reincarnation of Buddha, and they came back on to Earth to save other people, right? But somehow or other, they're telling me all this in the institution itself. They're telling all these things in the asylum, and the doctors have already confirmed that they are having schizophrenia. Okay, so all this psychosis, schizophrenia, they are linked. They are diagnosis of patients, and somehow or other, some patients, they do not want to believe in what the doctor said, and they tend to go aggressive towards whatever the doctors have to say, because they want their freedom, which is true. Everyone has personal freedom, but when it comes to patients who are suffering from mental illness and they are deemed a threat to themselves and other people, then of course they can't be um, they can't be released, and they can't be actually discharged from the institution itself. So that's why they tend to be aggressive towards the professionals, and they tend to go aggressive towards family members or other people like that. So that's why when they are in relapse, it's best um, to actually get them for professional help and treatment, so that they won't become aggressive. So not all will be aggressive, right? Some yes, some no. Some, they are more introverted, they are more uh, shy nature, quiet in nature, so they won't tend to do all this kind of stuff.
So Jackie says, that's the other sad stigma is with medication for mental health people. They feel weak to take it. They feel weak when they take medication. Um,
Yes, correct. They tend to feel weak because they always have this belief that, hey, I am not sick. I am fine. Why the hell should I be taking, right? But when we turn it around and tell them that, hey, these are actually not medications, these are actually vitamins, tonics for your brain, then they will start to, okay, accept this notion, because somehow or rather your brain tend to believe what is being told and what is being taught inside. So if you keep training your brains, for example, for those patients, if you keep training your brain and tell yourself that, hey, these are vitamins and it's sufficient for me, it's necessary for me to recover, then by all means they will tend to take it, because this is what happens to all the patients. And that's when the pharmacists and the institution, when they start to actually educate the patients about these medications, they will always tell them that these are the brain vitamins or the brain tonic for them, so that they will be much more receptive as compared to saying that these are medications. Because once they find out that they are well, they will 100% not want to take it, because they think that they are well already. They think that this is a common flu, this is a common fever. So once you have finished taking the Panadol, the flu medications, and you feel better, you do not have to take it, right? But for mental health patients, they still need to take it, because somehow or other their hormones will tend to fluctuate or tend to increase more than us normal people without any mental illnesses.
Wow. I mean, man, you just hit it right on the head with that. I'm going through the chat room. Natty says
Uh-huh.
that's so crazy. When I started learning about mental health, I started putting pieces together, and it is indeed connected. My anxiety triggers my asthma
Mm-hmm.
attacks, is what Natty says.
Yes, yes. Yes, hi Natty. And yeah, I mean, like for people with anxiety, they tend to have asthma attacks, especially those who has asthma before, especially during their childhood days. All these things can affect them, because when you're anxious, you tend to have difficulty in breathing. You'll be having perspiration, immense perspiration, because you're afraid, you're having fear that certain things will happen, or you're just due to your condition, you just automatically start to feel anxiety and feel that anxiety attack, even when there's no threat at all, right? So a lot of times it's all within. A lot of times it's within us, which means the thoughts. So that's why we need to actually train our thoughts. That's why we need to learn how to master our thoughts, so that we can master our life.
So when
That's
you
why
say,
our
sorry to cut you
yep.
off,
When
Rayson.
I say
Master
no
your
worries.
thoughts,
So
man.
when I
You went on. You was about to go
yep.
off, man. I wanted to cut you off real quick, man, just to get the question in before you gave the answer.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, now when you say we need to
sure,
learn to master our thoughts, like what does that entail of? Somebody says, tell me about it. Let me know a little bit about that.
sure. Okay, so basically, for me, normally what I do is that I teach people about mind mastery, right? So mind mastery is something that is a very cliche thing that a lot of us thought that, hey, once we have our habits right, we will have success. Once we have a positive mindset, we'll immediately have whatever that we want, like the laws of attraction. But the thing is this: what happens if you are a patient? And the laws of attraction, yes, it does work for you, it does work for a lot of people, but it doesn't work 100% all the time. And if, let's say, you're a patient, you apply whatever that is being taught outside, it doesn't 100% mean that it will help you to fulfill your life in a sense. So that's why I came up with this methodology of mine, which is very, very much easy to use. And of course, you can actually incorporate certain things that you have taught outside, and together with what I'm gonna share with you guys. Okay, so basically, I have this method. It's called the relax method. So it's RELAX, relax. So what does this relax method do is that if you want to be able to overcome your stress and master your mind, first and foremost, you need to be resilient. Okay, that stands for letter R. Okay, Why do I say resilience? Because in this day and age, a lot of people have been commenting about the millennials being soft. But the thing is this, the millennials, the X generation, the Y generation, all of us have at least one person that is suffering from mental illness. Okay? And the thing is this, what a lot of people have been stigmatizing about mental illness, some of them, they are in denial that all these things are happening. All these mental illnesses are happening in their family or friends or best friends, co-workers and things like that, right? So that's why they have this stigma behind it. And before I share with you more about relax method, more about resilience itself, I just share with you something that I've came across the other time. Okay, and it's a statistics from World Health Organization, and that is this: people suffering from mental disorder, all these people, right? Somehow or other, it affects 1 in 4 people around the world. Okay, 1 in 4 people around the world suffers from mental illnesses. It could be a stranger on the streets, it could be your friend's friend, it could be your friend's family members, or it could be your friend's family members that are suffering from it. And somehow or other, about 450 million people suffers from such conditions worldwide, be it depression, OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, be it schizophrenia, be it early psychosis, be it depression, bipolar, and all this kind of stuff. All these illnesses surface around the world, regardless whether you are religious or not, whether you are of a different race or not, whether of a different continent, a different culture. All these people are suffering from it. You need to learn about this method where you can actually learn how to relax yourself. Okay, so first and foremost, resilience is something that is very important in everybody's life, because without resiliency, you can't overcome your obstacles in life, be it a work issue, a family issue, for example, an argument with your wife or with your spouse, and your children are involved. How are you going to be resilient to overcome this obstacle? You need to think about it. And resilience is actually how well you can actually deal with life's challenges. And it is also the difference between handling pressure and losing your cool. So that's why a lot of times you need to be able to be resilient. And in order to be more resilient, you have to actually build positive beliefs in your abilities, in yourself. That's where self-esteem comes in. When you have positive beliefs about yourself and self-esteem, for example, you will be able to increase your confidence level in your competency in your work and also at the same time in life. So that's why you need to actually start with building positive belief. And this is something easy to practice, which is saying affirmations, positive affirmations, right? So some of you or all of you that are tuning in right now, you can actually do this exercise, which is very simple. What I need you to do is to actually put your right hand over your chest, okay? Put your right hand over your chest and say it out loud as possible, as confident as possible, which is something like, I am completely confident. Okay, I am completely confident. All right. So when you say it with zest and with much pride in whatever you say, you tend to feel your emotions becoming better. You're in much more self-control, and also at the same time, you can feel that you're more positive. All right. So this is what you can actually do for being more resilient, and also at the same time, you can also build it up through optimism. Okay, how to be optimistic is by reframing your thoughts. All right, so when you are actually starting to think negatively about certain things, certain situations, certain people, then you can actually be able to understand that setbacks are in fact temporary and you're able to overcome these challenges in life. So you have to actually replace negative thoughts with positive. So there's this research that says that in order to be positive, you need to have at least 3 to 6 positive thoughts in order to counter that one negative thought. Some research has said 10, but if you want, use 3 to 6. It will be good enough. All right, so you can start to think positively, and then also at the same time, you have to stay tough. So how do you stay tough is to actually accept that your situation is unique from other people, yes, but you have to accept that what is happening is going to happen and it has happened to you. So you have to look at it in a realistic standpoint. So while you may not agree with certain things like racism or, you know, uh, stigma, things like that, you can actually tell yourself that instead of looking at it in a very negative way and protest, why not go and accept what is happening right now? Accept what is happening right now, regardless whether you think it's right or wrong. Okay, because it is the first step in deciding how you respond. So remember, it's not so much about how you react to the situation or to the person or to the negative feeling or the negative thoughts, but it's more of how you respond to it. So, for example, if let's say you are stuck in a traffic jam, and you somehow or other will say to yourself, "Damn, this is not fair. I'm a nice person. I'm a good person. I shouldn't be stuck in a traffic jam. I'm gonna be late." But instead of thinking of that negative aspect, okay, why not change it to an aspect where, hey, you know what? There's so many cars around here, and I know I'm going to be late. I know I have to be so-called punished, open inverted comma, but it's fine. I know I'm going to have to sit through the nagging of my spouse or my bosses, managers, and things like that. Why not like this? Traffic jams are actually bound to happen sometimes, right? So why not let's tune into the radio or podcasts like this, the Legacy Show, which is mine, and or other podcasts that you want to listen to, and go and feel some positive vibes and fill in some new knowledge and positive thoughts as well. So while you are actually learning how to build positive thoughts, positive affirmations, and all this, and you start to use change certain behaviors uh, into tuning into all this podcasts and all this, change your behavior rather than to your normal behavior where you tend to go aggressive and negative about certain things, then you're able to actually control your upsetting thoughts and you're able to adapt with the situation that you're in. Because resilient people tend to face their fears and have an adaptive attitude that lets them to focus on the possibilities and opportunities around them rather than the negative, right? So yeah, so that's how people actually get into resiliency, and they learn how to pick themselves up. They learn to actually rebound stronger from the past, all the mistakes, the failures, and all this. They tend to rebound stronger, and they tend to start working on resolving the problem, focus on the progress, plan their next steps, and move forward rather than think back about the past and keep thinking about all the negative stuff, right? So this is in fact one part of it, right? Resilience. Okay. Next will be in fact enlightenment. I understand that a lot of people will relate this to Zen Buddhism or Buddhism itself, but in a whole, enlightenment is, in my opinion, self-awareness. Self-awareness is key because once you understand what you're thinking, what's the content that you're thinking of, why you're thinking about all this negative stuff, who is the one that's causing certain problems in your life, and how are you going to face it, and having clarity of your thoughts and your behavior patterns, then you tend to not feel so easily moved by negativity. You will tend to actually go beyond negativity and start to actually do a lot of things that's helping yourself to make sure that you are not so negative at all. So that is more towards enlightenment. So for the L part, the L is more about love, right? So love, I'm not just talking about loving other people, but 9 out of 10 times, a lot of us, in fact, forgot to love how to love ourselves. They forgot to love themselves because of in their busy schedule, they're always planning about, okay, what's my next move? What to do tomorrow? What to do later on at 10 a.m. In Singapore time, for example, or 10 p.m. in Chicago time, right? They all always think about what's next, but they forgot to learn how to slow down. Slow down your thought process. Slow down some time for yourself. And don't always think about just about others, but you have to think about yourself. Because if you do not know how to look after your body, your mind, and your spirit, and even be kind to yourself as you should and would to the other people, then 9 out of 10 times you'll suffer from burnout. And when you're burnt out, a lot of times you will tend to have a lot of turmoil in yourself, negative emotions in yourself. So that's why you need to actually learn how to take good care of yourself. So taking good care of yourself can be going for your massage therapy, your shopping retail therapy, but don't overspend too much or else you will add more stress to yourself, right? And also at the same time, you can also learn more about yourself while you're loving yourself. Because in the year 2014, I was having a huge disaster. I was having a huge disaster of losing a job. Okay, in the earlier parts of 2014, I lost a job as a Japanese clinic nurse due to negligence, and also at the same time due to me not able to cope, and I was very stressed out due to relationship issues. And after I lost the job, I thought that's the love of my life. I lost her as well because we quarreled, and in the end we kind of like I would say broke up. So all these things happen, right? And a lot of other things happen along the way. But in the end, I'm thankful that the 2014 me had this positive mindset of rebounding stronger and not giving up in life. That's where I actually learned how to actually motivate myself, self care for myself, love myself even, and that's where I started to actually become better at handling stress. So yeah, so all these steps are actually necessary for you to actually learn how to help you to increase your productivity, your self-esteem, compassion, and also at the same time preventing you from having burnout. Yeah. So that is more of the self-care, the love part. And then the A will be more towards having acts of gratitude. Somehow or rather, a lot of us tend to just give thanks to the food that we have, and that's it. And they forgot to give thanks about the cloth that they have to wear, the so many other things that they have in life that they always think about the lack of and not the have, not the things that they have, the people and all those things that they have right now. They always think about the lack of, oh, I do not have the Rolex watch, oh, I do not have the Lamborghini, oh, I do not have this and that. And they kept stressing about this, oh, I do not have love of other people, and all this kind of stuff. So that's where they start to yearn for attention and all this kind of stuff. That's why it is best if we actually learn how to actually love ourselves, then we will be able to have more of these things. And when we give thanks, we have acts of gratitude, which aka means deeper appreciation and about things, about people, right? It somehow or rather produces longer positive feelings about yourself and other people. And all this can help you with your well-being, build deeper relationships with other people, and improve your optimism in life. So all these are very, very significant. And also at the same time, it can help you to increase your happiness and your self-control. And from then on, your mental health, your physical health will all be positively affected, will be positively enhanced as well. So this is why I will always recommend my patients, my clients, to actually write down 3 things that you're grateful for the day. Be it in the morning, you start this habit of writing, or at night, you can start this as well. And then last but not least, the X is very important. It's very interesting word that not many people has been using. Not many people have been using this before. And what this word is actually Xenial. Okay, it's spelled as Xenial. It's not Xenial. Okay, it's not other pronunciation, but it's called Xenial. Okay, so what this Xenial means is that now that you have actually learned how to love yourself, learn how to appreciate yourself, now it's the time for you to appreciate and give thanks to other people. So Xenial means to actually give back, to actually be friendly towards other people rather than just yourself. So you need to actually learn how to love yourself first, and then slowly you are able to love other people. So this is what Xenial means all about. So by having all this methodology, all these frameworks, I believe you can actually release your stress even more, and also at the same time have a better control of your life and better in mastering your mind.
I want to say that I really do appreciate you. I mean, you have half the chat room, and including myself, feeling like we sat through a therapy session. Man, I'm just taking in all the notes and taking in everything that you said. It's like looking in ways to apply it to my life. I mean, this is gonna be a great one to listen back to. We are now at the 43-minute mark. I know that you said your time is limited today, so if you have any last things you would like to say to everybody before we get out of here.
Sure, no problem. The last thing that I would like to actually share and impart to you guys is that you only have one life to live. You only have one life to live as you. You're not going to live as Rayson Choo. You're not going to live as Gary Vee. You're not going to live as other people. Unless if you are Gary Vee and you're tuning in right now, yes, you're going to live as you yourself, right? But you can't be like somebody else. So that's why in order for you to actually thrive in any area, any aspects of your life, you need to learn how to appreciate your life as you are right now. Be it you are born in US, be it you are born in Canada, you're Africa, France, Germany, Romania, Singapore, Malaysia, other parts of the world, right? Or you're born in a poor or the wealthy family. Yes, you are living that life, but you're not entitled to. So you need to learn how to actually really understand and appreciate yourself before your mind takes over you. All right. So you need to learn how to overcome certain obstacles in life. You have to learn how to master your mind before your mind become the master of you. Okay. And for that, I would like to actually thank everyone for tuning in, and also at the same time, don't forget to check out my podcast called The Legacy Show. And if it's something that is valuable to you and all, and adds value to you, do give me some feedback, and also at the same time share with the others as well. And Raygacy is actually spelled as Raygacy. Okay, I repeat again, Raygacy. So yeah, so thanks a lot.
Rayson, I just want to tell you, man, I do very much appreciate you.
Yep.
Like I said, man, you taking time out of your busy life to sit down with me first thing in the morning and have a conversation.
Yeah, no.
I
Yep.
put your information inside the chat room. You really blessed a lot of people's lives tonight. I was going through the chat room. Everybody says they really appreciate it. They really enjoy it. There's so many messages, man. I can't go through all of them because I know that you have to go. But I mean,
Yeah, you can just probably screenshot and show it to me or something.
I'll send you the link to it and you can check it out in your free time. How about that?
Oh yeah, that would be great. That would be great.
Because
Yeah.
there's way
All
too
right,
many to
so-
screenshot. This is about 3 pages of screenshots to go through.
Holy crap!
I mean,
Wow. Wow,
it's
that's amazing.
it's been going on for a minute, man. I was like, I didn't want to cut you off, but again, man, like, I want to thank you, man, because that was really powerful. Everyone appreciated it. Everybody saying,
Yeah.
thank you, thanks Rayson, thank you Alec for tonight's show. Yeah, I mean, everybody. I just want to hope.
Welcome.
I just want to hope that you have a great day, man. Everybody else, have a great
Yeah,
evening.
definitely. Yeah.
We'll be
Yep.
connected. We'll be connected soon, man. We'll be connected
Yeah,
soon.
definitely. So for all of you who are tuning in, so for all of you that are tuning in, do stay tuned for more from this podcast and my podcast as well. And also at the same time, if you have anything that you want to share with me or talk to me about, go to my page Raygacy in Instagram or Facebook, and we can chat over there. Yep. So thanks a lot.
I definitely put your information there, man. So again, everybody, I look forward to talking to you guys. We'll be live again on Tuesday next week. We're doing 2 episodes again next week. I'm spoiling you guys inside the month of June. We're doing 2 episodes again next week.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I usually do 1 episode, but it's like lately I've been wanting to give people more to talk about. So, thanks, Rayson. I'll be connecting with you, man, and I'll let you know when this podcast is ready for you to listen back to. So, everybody have a good evening.
All right.